Hey, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
Bob, on this Camper Report Show, I'm going to be talking to representatives from Onan Cummins who are going to introduce the first brand new RV generator in over 20 years. It's so quiet, you might not even know it's on. How about you?
That's that's an interesting introduction. Well, I've got a guy who can actually do service work on it. A young independent mobile technician here in Massachusetts who's a recipient of RV Pro's 40 Under 40. We're going to see what life is like for mobile techs.
Great. All those and all the news of the day from our friends at RV Business and Woodall's Camping Magazine. Right here. Where, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody.
Sleeping on the short RV queen topper is as comfortable as sleeping at home. Now that we have the topper on there, it's made all the difference. It's really comfortable.
And the comfort comes from the fact that it's not too firm, nor is it too soft. It's kind of the right level of comfort for being out, especially when you're away from home.
And welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro, here with Bob Zagami. We're talking about all the RV news of the day. And Bob, casinos make the RV news again. And one of the largest individual casinos in North America, Foxwoods, right here in Connecticut, right here in New England, is talking about building a good-sized, real live RV park with our friends from Blue Water Development Corporation.
And it's going to be a luxury RV park. And this could start a very interesting trend, John, because we know that casinos are very popular places for RVers. Yep. But in most cases, they just get a concrete parking lot or an asphalt tile, and they send a shuttle bus over to the casino.
Exactly.
There's a lot of logic to this, because if you got a luxury RV resort, logic would say they're going to stay there a lot longer, enjoy the campground, and spend maybe 2 or 3 more days inside the casino than they would have done.
That's exactly right, because usually a lot of these stops, at least what we've experienced, is people stay a night or two and then they move on when they've, either lost all their money or eaten all they can at the all-you-can-eat buffets. But this one is going to have water park and, rides and that type of thing with a family theme. And that's very interesting as to see what will happen with the length of the stay at the park.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. The family is an interesting addition to it, but we're seeing where more families are camping, and that's more adults. So the adults can find things to do on their time also.
Right, exactly. Well, the kids can stay at the park. The adults will go into the indoor amusement park, if you will.
The park, maybe the park offers babysitting service.
Yeah, exactly.
How about the local economy?
Yeah, and this time of the year is the time when the big major RV show was held in Louisville, where all the manufacturers would show their new products for the upcoming year. And they always presented a very prestigious award called the Dealer Satisfaction Index, or the Quality Awards. And this year it's going to be presented at the RVDA convention, where you will be in a very short period of time out in Las Vegas. And our friends from Winnebago, as well as Airstream, are repeat winners. Bob, what makes that award so special?
Well, the big thing with this particular process is the people who vote on the manufacturers are, in fact, their customers, the RV dealers. It's a very extensive survey that gets into many different areas of the business operation, but also the relationship with the manufacturer itself. How do they supply parts? Do they get the parts on time? How are they on warranty administration? How are they settling warranty claims with customers? So it's a measure and a good barometer for the strength of a relationship between a dealer and a manufacturer. And they are not always perfect. Nope. So we have many companies, much like Airstream and Winnebago, that are perennial winners. But this year there were a lot of new ones. And as these press releases come out, we will certainly inform people. But what also is interesting about Winnebago and Airstream is that they received the awards both for their towable products and their motorhome products.
Motorist, right.
It's not just one product, one line. It's everything that they make. So the relationship with the towable lines, the relationship with the motorized, which are two completely separate divisions underneath the Winnebago umbrella. So that speaks well to the quality control process, the building, the manufacturing, the shipping at the plants, both in Forest City, Iowa for the motorized division, and I think it's in Middlebury, Indiana for the towables division. In Airstream, the same thing with their touring coaches and the Airstream lines. And these are not taken lightly. The manufacturers pay, quite honestly, I think the manufacturers sometimes pay more attention to this than the dealers do. They should have more participation by the dealers, because it is the dealer's only chance to have that direct communication. But it's also very prestigious to have that plaque or that award statue in the showroom of the dealership, because it speaks to the quality of the dealership also in terms of carrying out the warranties and the programs that these manufacturers offer.
Right. And speaking of dealers, one of the, if not the largest family-owned dealership with several stores, I think 24 stores across the United States, starting up in Maine, in New Hampshire, going all the way down to Florida, and then out to the Midwest now. Campers Inn is teaming up with our friends at RVTI, the RV Technical Institute, to train new people coming into the industry as technicians. And the interesting part about this is that these technicians that are being hired under this program are brand new. They don't have any bad habits from their prior job. Talk a little bit about why that partnership is so important.
Well, it is, but before we jump that, I've got to get you a new scorecard, because the acquisition of a dealership in Wisconsin this week brought it up to 29 dealerships.
29. Okay, so it was only 5 off.
and no sign of slowing up anytime soon. But yeah, they took the bull by the horns in this. It's a well-known fact that we don't have enough technicians in the industry. They're in short supply, and a lot of them have not been trained yet. So what Campers Inn did was establish their own service facility and program and hired dedicated people who do the training. And they teamed up with RVTI under what they call the Authorized Learning Partner Program. And they are not, we should acknowledge, they're not the only one in the country. Any dealership can be an authorized learning partner if they want to make the investment to have these facilities. Now, it's a much bigger investment when you have 29 facilities, because they have dedicated classrooms in each of their facilities. The people go through the online training with RVTI, they go through practical training, and they have hired over 40 new technicians. And that's the only thing they get is that title. When they walk in the door, they may know absolutely nothing about RVs, nothing. They may not even be mechanically inclined, but they feel the strength of the people that they have teaching the program and the strength of their service management team nationwide. They can teach them the Campers Inn way, and they will continue to invest in them and all of their technicians through the RVTI program. It is very unique, very costly, but it's an investment. And
well, it is an investment because, as we've been reporting here for the past year, it seems like every month we talk about record-breaking sales for the industry. And with that record-breaking sales, ultimately, service on these units is going to need to be performed. And you know what? It's always been an issue of people having to wait so long to have routine service done. This will help eliminate some of that backlog in the service waiting line, if you will.
Well, about 6 months ago, I wrote a story for RV Pro magazine, and I titled it "Service as a Competitive Advantage." That it's no longer good enough and acceptable to a consumer to say you've got a service department. There has to be something very unique about your service department. And one of the most important things they're going to look for is the quality of the service technician working on their coach.
Yep.
So if you do it right, it is definitely going to be a competitive advantage.
Exactly. So that wraps our news section. We've got two great stories coming up. Stay with us. And first of all, we want to thank our friends at RV Business and Woodall's Campground Management for the leads on these stories, and let you know that you are watching
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody.
I'm Jesse from Outsiders Calling, and I love adventurous family travel with my wife Jenny and our son Tucker.
For over 3 years, we've RV'd across the US and Mexico, and it's tough to find places that meet all our needs.
Now we plan our trips with the RV Trip Wizard, pull it up in the RV Life app, select it, and go.
It helps us discover amazing new places to grow together as a family.
RV Trip Wizard with the RV Life app is an awesome trip planning combination.
You can get both for one low annual price. Check out rvlife.com to learn more.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Camper Report Show. Our guest today is Ryan Hadley, an independent mobile technician here in Massachusetts. And Ryan, welcome to the Camper Report Show.
Thank you, Bob.
You know, it's always fun to look at different perspectives of the RV industry, one of which is the importance of independent and mobile technicians like yourself. And a few years ago, you set up your own business. Tell us why you wanted to have your own business as an independent mobile tech.
I've always been self-driven. I always wanted to own my own business. When I started in the RV industry, it was a goal of mine to be in this industry, and I enjoy, I enjoy supplying the customers with great service and giving them the best service they could possibly get, and honest service as well.
Okay, well, you know, it's a crying need in our industry. We don't have enough technicians, and that part of that, you know, is the industry kind of went along at a pretty good pace there for a number of years, and all of a sudden with COVID, sales have skyrocketed, and we're selling 500,000 new units a year. And the dealers have not been able to hire enough technicians. And that same goes for your automobile dealerships and, you know, pretty much any other business in the country. So right now, it's a very lucrative career field for people, but it's also one that has a crying need for independent mobile techs. And explain what an independent mobile tech is and why they're important to the consumer, because our audience is consumers.
Well, especially these days, I feel like mobile techs are very important in this age we live in right now, because a lot more people have bought campers within the last year and a half. A lot of people have gone seasonal at campgrounds. A lot of people are living in their campers. They've sold their houses and decided to live in their campers. And a lot of campers, they get delivered to these locations and that's it. They don't move anymore. So these dealerships who don't offer road service, they have no way of going and fixing the problems on these trailers. So there is where a mobile tech is very important in that situation.
How do you get your customers?
A lot of word of mouth. A lot of people will refer me from different dealerships. Google, if you Google a mobile RV tech in Worcester County or Massachusetts, my name comes up. We do a little bit of advertising on Facebook.
Another aspect of the industry is a lot of people for years used to think of an independent or a mobile tech as a competitor. I never have, and I don't think that many of my dealers think of it that way, because in essence, you have certain skills that you can complement what they have at the dealership if they have special requirements, but you certainly don't compete with them. As you said, many of them do not offer roadside service or the ability to get to somebody's home to do that. Is that as much of an issue now, or do you find that it's a good complement and you are actually able to work with several dealerships?
I do a lot of work with a lot of dealerships, independent dealerships, independent service locations, and big household name dealerships use me for their service. I feel, and I've said this from the beginning since I've started this business, I feel as though everybody can work together and there's no need to compete against each other. When I may need something from them, they may need something from me. So it's a big circle where everybody can get along, and I'm not out there in my business to cutthroat and take business from anybody. Obviously you have to make a living, but I feel as though you give what you get back.
You know, and I think what you said before was important. The referral, the importance of referrals to anybody like yourself who is a small businessman, independent businessman. You're going to live and die on the reputation that you provide, the service that you provide, but the reputation that you get with referrals from other customers.
Yeah, exactly. My referrals go a long way from other customers. My referrals from different shops and dealerships go a long way. If I go and do a job at a campground and one person's happy, it seems to me that they will give my name out, and all of a sudden I'll have 10 customers at that campground. So that's one of the reasons why I try to do the best job I can. I try to treat customers fair. It makes me feel good at night going home, knowing that that repair that I did on somebody's camper is done the right way, and I'm not going to get a call back for that same issue.
And you got a lot of motivation at home to grow your business. You got Amy and 4 children at home, so
Yep.
they look.
My wife has been I shouldn't say behind me, she's been beside me since the moment I decided to start my own business. And she's, there was times where I was doubtful and I was not sure if I was going to make it. And she would stand there and, next to me, and she'd say, "You're going to make it. It's all going to work out." And, I don't want to sound corny or cliche or anything, but, also my kids too. My kids, they've, looking at them and wanting to give them the best thing I can is my motivation to get up every morning and go to work.
Well, it's paying off, because I know, although this is a national show, with my engagement with the New England RV Dealers Association, we hear great things about you every week. You also, you won't blow your own horn, but I'll blow it for you. You were also recently recognized by RV Pro magazine as one of the up and coming 40 people under 40 years old. That makes you a kid in my book, but but what does that award mean to you? And I know you'll be out in Las Vegas at the RVDA National Convention with your wife, getting up on the stage and getting that award and recognition for what you have done in a very short period of time with your business.
It means a lot to me. When I got the phone call, I honestly didn't know what to say. It means a lot that people are recognizing my hard work, my work ethics, my customer service. This award is kind of like something that makes me feel like I can do this. It's nice to get recognition for it, because, I'm not the type of person, I don't go out there looking for recognition. I enjoy word of mouth is my recognition, and happy customers is what I look for. That's how I get my recognition, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So this award is kind of something I'm very proud of. I've worked hard the last 2 years to bring this business to where it is. And I enjoy this industry a lot. This is not just a fly-by-night career for me. This is my life. I'm always interested in learning and progressing in this industry as well.
And you have been receiving some of your training from the RV Technical Institute, the industry training academy out in Elkhart, Indiana. Talk a little bit about the importance of this continuous training.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in this industry for almost 10 to 12 years. I've been working on campers, somewhere in there. And I did the RVTI training for level 1. And you may think you know everything about a camper, but anybody who says they know everything about a camper is wrong. I mean, you learn new stuff every day. That training helped me realize a few tricks, a few different ways of looking at an issue with a camper, or a few different ways to test a camper. I suggest to anybody that is looking to get into this industry, RVTI is definitely the way to go. And even if you have no mechanical background or anything, though, that course will teach you from start to finish, and it'll give you a great aspect on what it is to work on a camper.
Well, let's finish on that note, because you said an important thing about getting into this industry. What advice do you have for men and women who are looking to change a career? We know our industry is really hot right now, but what advice would you give them, speaking as a man of experience?
Well, patience. When you work on a camper, you need patience. But as far as getting into this industry, I think now is the perfect time. I mean, a lot of these big dealerships, they offer training, they offer schooling. They would probably pay for some of these people that don't have any experience in the RV industry to go get schooling. Like you said at the beginning of the show, techs are very hard to find right now. It's this industry has just blown up in the last 2 years, last year and a half. And I suggest to anybody that is not happy with what they're doing, at least give it a shot. Maybe take the level 1 exam with RVTI, see how you like it, and then go from there.
All right. Our guest tonight has been Ryan Hadley from Holden, Massachusetts, one of RV Pro's 40 Under 40, and a tremendous independent mobile technician here in the Northeast. Ryan, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Glad to have you on the program.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
Hey everybody, it's John DePietro for the Camper Report Show. And you know what? If you own an RV, you need a generator. And we're talking to our friends at Cummins, and we're talking to our friend Brian. Brian, welcome to the Camper Report Show.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, good to be here.
So Brian, you've got a brand new product, and I think it's safe to say that generators have kind of stayed the same for a long time.
Oh yeah, over 20 years.
20 years. So you've got something new. And we were just saying before we lit the record button that generator today has more necessity than ever before because of all the electronics that people live by, and also the number of RVers that are able to live and work from their RV.
Exactly, yeah, the new work from home scenario.
Exactly. So the sign says green means Onan RV generators. Tell me what you mean by that, and here's what I'd like you to do, and I haven't prepared this in advance. I'd like you to show me the difference between the current model and the new model that you've got coming out, because one of the big problems that people have with generators is not the work that they do, but the sounds they make when they do it. So,
exactly. Yeah, what we're going to be talking about today is the new 2500i or the 2800i generator. Now those are the smallest gasoline or LP generators that we provide today.
So you have both gas and propane?
Correct. The model that it preceded the new technology was called our 2500. It was a conventional alternator. It was a conventional carburetor, just more of the original platform of a true generator.
Yeah. Could you say it would be the same as a lawnmower engine, that type thing?
There's the only difference would be is the ruggedness,
okay,
because of the mobile transportation.
Right.
You know, the electronics and the engine, they have to be able to withstand a lot of road wear.
Okay.
Whereas a smaller C-seat engine typically are a platform and just, you know, not a whole lot of rock and roll on it.
Okay.
So this one here is the original. This one right here is our new version. This one has a fuel-injected system rather than a carburetor. It's returnless fuel-injected, so you don't have to plumb the fuel line. You don't have to bring it back to the tank.
Okay.
It also has an inverter rather than a typical alternator. It's got a PMA, which means it's a permanent magnet alternator, and it works a little differently. It has a variable speed engine, keeps the noise down. And one of the other features that we have found is very beneficial is that this particular unit, it has a manual breaker in it. But in the old application, if the unit was overloaded, too much was turned on, the breaker would pop and you'd have to crawl underneath and reset the breaker. This particular product, the inverter shuts it down prior to the breaker flipping, and then it resets itself after you clear the code.
And that's so important now, Brian. Wouldn't you say that with the number of new RVers, I mean, we're here at a show that we've done some surveys with people coming in, at least 50% don't even own an RV yet. So they buy their RV because they're selling faster than ever before, there's supply problems, etc. Good problems to have. But people don't know that you should not be running the microwave, the TV, the air conditioner all at the same time.
Correct. You know, that's load management is
load
an important aspect of RVing, especially when you get into the smaller rigs where they don't match the power at the pole.
Yep.
This one puts out 23 amps of power. When you're plugged in, you have 30 amps.
Yep.
So you have almost 30% less power available.
Now see, that's something I didn't even know.
Yeah, so when you get into a generator situation, whether it's a 30 amp coach or a 50 amp coach, understanding what your output is critical to understanding what you can run or can't run in that environment of a generator. So let's take a look at the noise level, because that seems to impact everyone so much.
Would you agree with me, Brian, that people don't care what the heck is inside it? They just want to know how much noise it makes.
That's primary. They want to know how loud is it?
Yeah.
And how much fuel does it use? Those are the two biggest questions that come about, because it's their actual usage. It's not about their maintenance.
Right.
So
because people don't maintain it. They don't change the oil like they should. They don't change the filters like they should.
You know, John, that's another part of the conversation you may want to have with your viewers.
Okay.
So where I'm going to turn on the first unit, and you're going to hear that most of the motor noise comes out from this door here.
Yeah.
Let's go over and I'll turn this one on also. Now they're both running, so when I shut this one off, this is what you're left with.
Wow. You know what? I'm not an audiologist, but I'm sure your engineers and your marketing people came out with some kind of decibel difference.
Oh yeah, it is
amazing difference.
It's about a 15 decibel difference.
Okay.
And the human ear, 2 to 3 decibels make a huge difference.
Okay.
So what we platformed this unit under was the opportunity to sound like one of those little pocket generators that you see sitting outside of the RV.
Yeah.
We targeted that.
They're usually red.
Well, there's some colors there, and we tried to say, let's be quieter under a load than those components, and we made it. This one here is like 54 decibels under low load, 57 decibels under high load, whereas this one was over 70 decibels.
Okay, so we didn't pre-arrange talking about decibels, but obviously I'm pretty intelligent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
you know, that's
and modest. But are these available only from new manufacturers, or can people buy them and replace theirs if they, how can?
So where's the aftermarket right now?
Yeah.
Because of the high demand, we are focusing all our generators of this new brand, both the gasoline and LP, towards the OEMs, towards the manufacturers. As product is able to increase, as production goes up, we will start filling the pipeline of aftermarket. Okay. Right now, you could find one if you look really hard and long, but for 99% of what's being put out there today, it's supplying to the manufacturers.
Okay, and I would eventually, I guess, Brian, that unit there is going to be phased out.
We are no longer making it.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, we dropped this line when we picked up the last release of this one, which was the first of 2021. So we've been only building this one this year.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
Brian from Onan, Cummins, thank you so much for your time.